All right, folks, I'm here with the living legend, George Perez.
I needed some candy in the seat here.
So, Mr. Perez, can you tell us about your experience with the Hero Initiative?
Well, actually, I've been there since the start of the Hero Initiative. I was asked to join when they were first being formed, and when I realized it was a way of helping out all the artists who built this industry, who did not benefit from all the things that I got, the perks of royalties and rights to characters, I couldn't say no. So I've been very proudly an officer of the Hero. What originally was actor, commitment to a route to the Hero Initiative. Well, since the inception, it was formulated originally by Jim McLaughlin, who now serves as our chairperson, and Mark Alessi of now unfortunately defunct CrossGen Comics. But it's wonderful, wonderful charity. I'm so proud of all the artists and writers we've helped in the course of the years. We've probably handed out close to $400,000 years to help people just sometimes just pay their rent, pay medical bills, on some unfortunate cases pay funeral expenses, but just to try to give back to all the giants on whose shoulders we've built our empires on.
You seem so enthusiastic about this venture. Is there, as you seem to be calling a lot of other artists to your cause, what is the greatest thing that you've seen as you've helped build Hero?
Well, the thing, obviously, the good it's done, and the fact that just from drawing comics, doing exactly what I love to do, I've been able to give back and help out other people. I've been told that I've inspired people. I've been told that my name has a certain amount of cachet that people will pay attention to it. And to have that kind of power to be able to do some good in the world is fantastic. I mean, I started my charity ventures because of a very, very dear friend of mine who was like a sister to me, who ended up with a child who had seizure disorder and cerebral palsy, and I went back and started doing convention sketches and got them out of debt until the government could provide money. And I realized, it feels good to give back. And Hero gives back to those who are responsible for my being here.
And I know that I read Crisis in the early 90s when I was a kid. I know you've inspired a lot of new generation of writers and artists. So how does it feel just to see this entire popular culture just collide? You have music, you have movies, everything, and you're one of the progenitors of the art form that we love. How does it feel to do that?
Well, right now it makes me feel really old. I think I had age spots pop out of my head as you mentioned that. But the thing is, I am very grateful. I mean, the fact also that I'm now working in this industry 35 years and I'm still a vital part of the industry. To be able to see all the offshoots that have come out of it. The fact that being a comic book artist used to be something like, I'm a commercial artist, and you hide the fact you're a comic book artist. I'm a comic book artist, very, very proud of it. And seeing everything that's grown out of it, that of course I've also both professionally and financially have benefited from, I feel very gratified, but also reminds me of how much I have to be grateful for and how much I have to give back. If I'm expected to not only look myself in the mirror, but know that my wife and my mother will always be proud of the man my wife married and the man my mother raised.
That sounds very, very, very inspiring, and I thank you for the time that you've given to us, Mr. Perez.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
No, I got a couple questions.
Sure.
Just because also people tend to not really comprehend what happened in the past about the rights, about artists not getting paid for stuff that they did. Can you further elaborate on that?
Well, it's not that they weren't paid, but they were paid as work for hire, so they were paid piecemeal. They were paid for every page they drew. They retained no rights as far as the creation of the character because it was considered owned by the company. So of course, the only revenue they got was for the per page rate. And since many of them were freelancers, there were no employment benefits. So they didn't have a pension that they were paying into. They didn't have any Social Security that they were paying into. So basically, if they weren't working, they weren't having any other means of earning money. And I have benefited from the fact that I earn, in some years I've earned more in royalties than I earn in my actual page rate, because that's the way the industry has changed. And if you've hit on a successful project, like the Teen Titans in my case, that garnered revenue later, if you have that, then you have something that's paying you back for work that you have done in the far past. And those who were just in the industry before us didn't have it. Now there were exceptions, those smart people who had certain business savvy or had lawyers handle it at the beginning, but those were few and far between. The great majority of the artists and writers of that era were strictly work for hire and gained nothing more than what they got paid on a per page basis, which at the time was not very high.
Around what time did you see that movement change into helping the past artists? Was this a recent thing, or maybe it started maybe how long ago?
Well, in the case of past artists, actually, it was Hero Initiative that really started that. There was a hue and cry when the Superman movie was coming out in the 1970s, when they realized that Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the two creators of the series, were getting nothing for this multi-million-dollar venture on characters they themselves created.
And wasn't one of them basically broke at the time too?
Yes, yes. Actually, both were not doing well. One was legally blind and working, I believe, as a night watchman. And the bad publicity that engendered kind of forced the companies to say, yes, even though it all happened before our watch, so technically they were responsible, that to pay some kind of stipend, unfortunately couldn't make up for what literally millions of dollars that would have been theirs under a modern structure, but it tried to rectify some of the bad, and that's probably the first time people realized how poorly creators were treated, particularly in many cases, like in the case of the creators of Superman, they were teenagers. What did they know? And Hero is there to try to help those who, unfortunately, cannot benefit from things being given retroactively. Even when royalties started, it wasn't royalties. It was royalties from the start of the program. It wasn't royalties for stuff that was up prior to that, except in some cases. I mean, I think they made they grandfathered some stuff for Jack Kirby over at DC, but that didn't make up for all the stuff that Jack Kirby did not get over at Marvel. So, like again, you try to do what you can, and Hero, I'm very proud of it. I wish it wasn't necessary. And I wish there was more that we could do. But a lot of what we do is thanks to the fans out there who are so generous at providing the donations, and to all the pros who work very hard to get as much of that donation as possible.
All right, thanks for your time, George.
Thank you, guys.
It was great.
Thank you.
For this and more information about the Hearing Initiative on how to volunteer or donate, please visit them at www.hearinginitiative.org.